Well, good Monday morning to you, and welcome to our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy. I'm Jim Tabor, along with our guests of all. Well, I say I'm our guests of all 3 years now. We've been doing this.
Right at it. Yeah.
They're not really the guests; they're family.
Yeah.
Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition on Cowan Road in Gulfport. But our phone lines are 896-0713, 800-349-0713. This is always a live call-in show for you, so you can call in regarding the day's subject or anything else that's been on your mind that you've been calling and asking them about. You can do that this morning on the show, half-hour show. And of course, towards the end of the show, we always have a weekly special for you. And then we also invite you to go like their Facebook page.
Yes.
Because they're always giving you updates on things that are going on there, any specials they may be having.
Yep.
So be sure that you go on and do that. But we're talking about something this morning that I never knew of until I met y'all. Leaky gut.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, I think of that and I'm thinking there's your stomach and it's leaking.
Well,
you know,
that's kind of
sort
what
of,
it's doing.
yeah.
Yeah, really.
You know, there's only in our gut, when you look at the gut, it's only one layer of cells thick, and it can be very permeable. In other words, it allows things, digested foods and stuff like that through, so we can get the nutrients out of our food. But when we talk about this leaky gut, there's really what they call the cells in our gut are actually, there's a tight junction, they call it. And that tight junction doesn't allow big stuff to get through, for instance, like bacteria. Think about all the bacteria we got in our gut. Well, they want to stay in the gut.
Bacteria,
you don't want
toxins, food that is not
undigested
digested food
yeah.
completely,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Well, when you have, and one of the biggest known problems is, unfortunately, gluten. Okay,
Well,
we've
one of
talked
the
about
things
that.
That's why more people are going to the gluten-free diet because
yeah.
of what it does to their
They're
stomach?
experiencing things like that because what happens is the gluten gets in that tight junction and it causes inflammation. And of course, when it causes inflammation, the cells separate. They move apart. The inflammation causes a swelling, if you will, localized. And when those cells move, they allow things like partially digested food, toxins, bacteria that shouldn't be there, that kind of thing, that to get through that lining and into our bloodstream. And that's what sets up things, for instance, when you talk about allergies or food sensitivities, things like that, that's where it all starts.
Wow. We have a call this morning. Philip from Van Cleve is on the
Wow.
phone. Good morning, Philip. What's your question for the doctors?
Yes, this morning I have a question. I have a 10-year-old daughter. She's been having a lot of stomach problems at school, having to go get her out and stomach cramping, and been giving her probiotics. But, just thought that, there would be something else we could possibly do for her, maybe do a cleanse or something. And, we just sought out Doctors Nutrition. We sent a lot of people there and had a lot of success and, just wanted some advice.
Oh, thank you. Definitely probiotics is always where you start, but changing the diet is probably one of the big things. And he just mentioned gluten being one of the problems. A lot of people with these stomach problems that just don't go away will take them off of grains and dairy. So I tell people eliminate it from the diet. It's hard because it's in everything. When you start looking, it's in everything. But if you eat fruits, vegetables, lean meat, nuts, seeds, you eliminate that. So that's the first thing I would do is eliminate that. And then another thing would be digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes help you digest your food better. And so many times we see people with a lot of undigested food. So it really, it depends. And there's other things that can affect it. And there could be food allergies. And there's a lot of things that can be affected. But we tell people start with eliminating grains and dairy.
Those are the two big offending foods, Philip. One of the greatest GI researchers, I guess, in our times was asked one time, "What about milk for dairy?" And he said, "It's great for babies, baby cows. It's not good for baby people, humans. We're just not designed to break it down. Some of the casein, especially that's in there, can be real problematic for a lot of people." And it's not like an allergy where you have the swollen eyes and that kind of thing, but it's a sensitivity or an allergy or a sensitivity type thing. We tend to call them more food sensitivities than allergies because it's not a true allergy like, but it sets the immune system into kind of a panic mode. In other words, once you get something in that gut and it gets through that leaky gut that we talked about and gets in the bloodstream, the immune system goes nuts. I mean, it starts doing all kind of really weird stuff because it sees something as a foreign invader.
Right. Does she have constipation or diarrhea?
Philip?
Philip? Well, maybe Philip ain't there anymore.
Yeah,
but
he's
anyway,
gone. Okay.
you there?
Okay.
No, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. Well, we were also going to say a lot of times, especially when there's a lot of diarrhea, we do use something called GI Essentials that works really well, and it's even safe for kids to take. So we have a lot of different things. Probably the best thing to do is to come in and let's look at her individually and see what might be best for her.
Yeah.
But again, health starts at the digestive tract, and so a lot of gut problems start as a kid.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, when people think, well, because we ask them all the time, one of the first things we would ask Philip, for instance, when was the last time his daughter had an antibiotic that she had to take? Oh, it's been years. Okay, it takes years to correct something in the gut once you've had something like an antibiotic. It can take some people, now other people may get over it pretty quick, but some individuals, it can take several years to correct the problems in that gut.
Okay, Philip is back on the phone. Philip, does she have a problem with constipation or diarrhea?
She does. She fluctuates back from
Back and
constipation to diarrhea.
Right.
And, one of the things that the doctor already answered was we probably need to get her a blood panel work and get her in and,
Definitely, always, because we're seeing a lot of things show up in kids that you wouldn't think would show up
Right.
in kids' lab work. So nowadays, you can't just say kids should be healthy because they're kids, because a lot of them are not.
Should be.
And you also, when you have a lot of gut issues, you got to look for nutritional deficiencies too, because we see a lot of B12 problems, and B12 affects digestion. So again, you just got to look at the whole picture. So the best thing to do is probably do some lab work on her, and then, like I said, definitely take her off of the grains and dairy to begin with.
And then when we talk about grains, we're talking about things like bread and rice and pastas,
Corn.
corn,
Well, you mentioned
cereals.
Soy.
You mentioned digestive enzymes. I mean,
Yes.
is there something that they can do to increase those, or
Typically, you just have to take them for a while.
yeah?
And
And that would
Yeah.
help out with the
and
stomach issues.
well, that takes a lot of the load off the gut.
And another thing that affects that we haven't even mentioned yet is stress. Stress is one of the reasons you can have leaky gut and digestive issues to begin with.
That's
So
true.
if there's any extra stress, you got to see what you can do about that as well.
Yeah.
So that plays a big role as well. People, kind of the reasons you could have leaky gut, it could be foods that you're eating or a bad diet. It can definitely be toxins. It can be a bacterial overgrowth, a yeast overgrowth, or stress,
Okay.
which a lot of people have that.
All right. Well, thank you, Philip, for calling. We've got some people on hold. If you'll hang on for just a moment, we're going to take a quick break, pay a few bills, and we'll be right back to you. And welcome back to our show this Monday morning live, and we're talking about leaky gut. But as I said, if you have a question about anything regarding your health, call in. And Terry from Bay St. Louis is on the phone with a question regarding menopause. Good morning, Terry. What's your question for the doctors?
Hi.
Hello.
How are y'all today?
Fine.
Fine, how are you?
Great. Well, okay, let's see. I'm 51 years old right now.
Okay.
When I turned 49, I believe I started having like these panic attacks and or anxiety attacks, and I linked it to because every time it was time for my cycle, that's when these would start.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been to doctors. They put me on Prozac. They put me on Xanax, and those aren't really helping. They put me on Klonopin, and that was horrible. that made matters way worse. So at this point, I'm at my wit's end. I mean, these attacks literally ruin every day. I'm just used to, I was wasn't scared of anything. I'd jump in my car and go anywhere, and now I'm just like freaked out to do anything.
Actually, it's pretty common with menopause to actually start seeing some of these anxiety and panic attacks. And one thing that we see a lot is cortisol raises when menopause starts. And cortisol is your stress hormone. What we have actually found is that a lot of these medications that you've listed that you've already taken do not lower, people come in already on those medications and they still have sky-high cortisol. First thing to do is to check your cortisol, but I bet that's part of the problem because as progesterone falls, which is one of the hormones that's actually you make hardly none of in menopause because you only make it after ovulation, when it falls, it tends to stress the body out and you increase the stress hormone. So controlling that stress hormone, which we do have nutrients to do that, but the first thing we always say is let's make sure that's the problem. So honestly, we can check it because that's one thing that we check all the time, but that's a pattern that we see in a lot of menopausal women.
Yeah, you know, you're not. It's not the first time we've
Right,
heard that
and
one,
so
Terry.
it's your adrenals overreacting, and it's kind of like it's a change. Your body's so used to having all these hormones, and when they don't have them anymore, it don't know how to handle stress properly.
Right.
Another thing that can do it is lower DHEA, and DHEA tends to also fall, and DHEA is a hormone that tends to help you handle stress better. So again, we can just check it and see where you are.
So someone also suggested that I make sure I take my vitamins, you know, which I have been. I take a prenatal vitamin.
Honestly, if you're not having a cycle anymore, you probably don't need a prenatal because prenatals are really high in iron, and women do not need iron after they stop having cycles usually. So again,
Okay, well, I haven't really stopped having
okay,
cycles.
well then you
so.
probably well you probably then have a
Yeah.
lower progesterone because progesterone is the first hormone to fall. So the best thing to do is to come in, let's check it, because just taking a vitamin is not going to control the cortisol.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
But we do have stuff that does, and so first let's see if it's the problem. But we see this every day. We really do. That's one of the problems that we see a lot.
Oh, I just thought I was a freak.
No. Actually, I have more women that actually tell me, how come no one tells us it's going to be like this? You know,
Right?
because I thought something was wrong with me. That's what I hear from all the women that come in.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
they said, if somebody would have told me that this is what's going to happen, I wouldn't be so surprised.
And most guys are not
Yeah.
going to tell you something's wrong with you. So
No, for our safety, we don't go there. Okay.
Terry, thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
8960713.
You too.
Thank you. 8960713, 800-349-0713 are our phone lines if you have a question. We were talking about leaky gut, but Terry called in with a question regarding menopause. So if you have a question regarding anything and help you live a better lifestyle, please feel free to call in. As we mentioned at the beginning of it, so much of it goes right back to your diet.
Always.
Hippocrates, the guy 5,000 years ago that started modern medicine, I guess if you can call that modern 5,000 years ago, he actually said that the food is our medicine and our medicine is our food. So it goes back to the diet, what we eat or don't eat, and that what we eat and don't eat creates a problem in the gut. So,
And what we hear of every day, because people get aggravated with us and say, you keep saying stop sugar,
Imagine
stop gluten.
that.
People say, what do you mean gluten? We've always eaten gluten. We're fine. Well, people don't realize the gluten has increased dramatically in our diet since the 50s.
Well, your body
Because-
changes the older that you get.
Well, it's not just that. It's also they've
And so
changed.
it's going to, the things are going to affect
Yeah.
it differently.
But they've changed our food. Our food
Well, sure,
supply
yeah,
has
that too.
changed. And since they have modified some of the foods, it definitely is higher in gluten than it used to be. And it's
Much.
and
Much.
so that's definitely causing an increased problem in leaky gut.
Okay. Mark from Ocean Springs on the phone with a question. Good morning, Mark. What's your question for the doctors?
See, hang on, there we go, cured it. My name is Mark Joint, and I work at McRoy's. I'm 51 years old, and my shoulder, my hands, they cramp up real bad.
Okay?
And I thought maybe you all might give me an idea of what I could do to get the cramping to go away.
probably, one of the first things is minerals.
Yeah, minerals is the first thing you think about it cramping, and you can have those checked and see where they are. But also, neck problems can actually make a difference with cramping in the
they
hands
can.
and arms as well.
Well, I take vitamins.
Well, you still, like I said, just a regular vitamin might not have as high of magnesium as you need, or it might not have quite as high as potassium. Now, you don't want to just run out and take tons of potassium because you can get too much. But have it checked, and that way you know where you are. And some people we even see where it's low sodium. So you just got to check and see, but you just don't want to add a bunch of salt if you don't need it either.
Right.
Yeah.
I was told that it might be calcium.
It's possible, and
Possibility.
we do have a multi-mineral that we kind of just, if you want to just take something and it won't be too high of anything that would hurt you. So it's called Mega Mineral, and a lot of people take it during the summer to keep the cramping down. So that's what I would start, and they're maybe having blood work done to see where you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for your
Thanks, Mark.
questions. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Those are our phone lines. They're open to you this morning. If you have a question for the doctors, we're talking about leaky gut again this morning, and things that the symptoms that you can have with them and what to do to get rid of those.
We didn't really talk about symptoms and problems that can be caused by leaky gut.
Yeah.
And it's any skin problems, you can have any autoimmune type
Psoriasis,
problems.
eczema, those kind
irritable
of things.
bowel syndrome, which we know a lot of people
IBS,
have
we
that.
talked about that a lot, yeah.
Ulcerative colitis.
Yeah.
It don't just have to be stomach problems. A lot of people show up as other things like skin problems and autoimmune diseases and headaches and things like that.
Okay. Cynthia from Moss Point on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Cynthia. What's your question for the doctors?
Well, yes, sir. It's for my daughter. She's 24 years old, and she's having a lot of problems with her breast. And I have fibrocystic disease
Okay.
all my life, and it's hereditary. And I've always been told to take vitamin E, 1,000 milligrams.
Right.
Is that what the good thing to do?
Actually, that's one thing, but what works so much better than vitamin E for fibrocystic breast disease is primrose oil.
And what's that?
Primrose oil is an oil, and it actually is high in what they call GLA. And it actually, we have a really strong one, and it works really good. People that take it can't believe that there's a difference in like within a week. So I mean,
Okay.
huge difference.
And where would I be able to find that at?
Well,
Doctor's Nutrition, where else?
we do have it, and we
Yeah.
actually have the pharmaceutical grade one where it's real high in GLA as well.
Yeah, you want a
Yep.
strong one, and we've
Yeah,
got something
and if you
pretty
can't make it
strong.
over to their store, I mean, you can go online
Yeah, just
and
call them.
doctorsnutrition.com or just give them a call, and
Yeah,
you can order it
call.
over the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, but that works wonders.
I sure appreciate y'all.
Number
All
down
right.
there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia.
Hey, bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take another break, and we'll be back with this week's special.
We'll pay more bills.
Yeah. And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy. I'm Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition on Callan Road in Gulfport. Gidget from Gulfport is on the phone. Good morning, Gidget. What's your question for the doctors?
Just curious, after listening to a lot of what they were saying, I have seizures, vertigo, fibromyalgia, and when you go to the doctors, they just kind of keep giving you more and more medications. If I were to maybe come and visit you, would it help that possibly, because the more you try and eat healthy, I do feel bloated, you do things like that, that the medications are possibly inhibiting, even though you're eating healthy, that maybe you could come to you, get blood work, and that possibly there's more going on because of all the medicines they're giving you.
Definitely. We see a lot of people with fibromyalgia, and we help a lot of them. It's something that it's not just one thing, and even the leaky gut that we've been talking about can go along with fibromyalgia, because we see a lot of people with fibromyalgia started with some gut issues and even some food allergies. But it can be even some of the underlying thyroid, underlying adrenals, vitamin deficiencies. We see so many different things on fibromyalgia. It's not just one thing, but there's no doubt we have a lot of people that we have helped with that problem.
And I do have thyroid issues as well.
Okay, and that's another thing, is to look at that and see, you have to be optimal, not just in range. So that's another thing that we look at when we do the lab work. So definitely, I think if you come by, we can see what we can do for you.
All right.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call, Gidget. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. This is our final segment this morning. Let's go ahead and talk about your specials for the week.
Well, since we're talking about leaky gut, the things to fix it or help fix it, the GI Essentials is one of our go-tos, because it's got the L-glutamine, which is right under it. It's got the L-glutamine powder, which is the #1 healing amino acid for the gut. But it's got a lot of other stuff in it to help, and one of the biggies for the leaky gut, zinc. And it's got zinc carnosine, which is the form to have in that
Right,
leaky.
it's a special kind. It also
special
has
kind.
your deglycerized licorice, your slippery elm, your aloe.
Yeah.
It's kind of a combination. We used to have to use 3 or 4 different products when we worked with leaky gut or even any stomach issues. And we put this together in a powder form so you didn't have to take so many pills, and you can just do a scoop, mix it with a little water, and drink it on an empty stomach. So it actually works really good.
And we actually made it taste pretty good.
And it does. It tastes pretty. It's like a fruity flavor, so it's actually good. And glutamine itself, which is the other thing, just plain glutamine. If some people don't want to take something with multiple things in it, if they have real sensitivities to a lot of things, we'll start with just glutamine. Glutamine itself is your most abundant amino acid in your body anyway, but it's very healing to the intestines. It's tasteless. So I do tell people it don't have any taste, pretty much. Some people say it'll taste salty, but I don't think so. I think it has no taste. But glutamine itself even increases growth hormone, which actually just helps healing all over the body, not just in the gut.
Right.
So both those products are really good. Other things we do nutritionally for leaky gut is digestive enzymes, probiotics, which we've mentioned, and changing the diet. So there are things that you can do when you have the leaky gut and to try to help with the other health problems that it causes.
That's right.
Now, a lot of times, talking about diet foods and everything like that, I'm sure a lot of it, too, is you might be doing something healthy, like chicken breast or something like that, but you have to be careful of all the different spices and herbs or whatever that you use to season it.
Yeah, some people are very
You don't want to eat it
sensitive
bland, but I mean, still.
Some people are very sensitive to it, so you just have to learn. You know, when we get into these food sensitivities, it's a big old can of worms. And believe me, there's a lot of things can start bothering you. And, you know, the thing of it is, you say, well, I've eaten so-and-so all my life. You know, yeah, you may have. And all of a sudden, you know,
Now,
it's it.
Even though we talked about food sensitivities irritating leaky gut, they think leaky gut is one of the reasons you have food sensitivities.
Exactly.
So fixing the leaky gut in the first place, a lot of times will help with a lot of these food sensitivities
Sure will.
as well.
All right, David from Biloxi on the phone with a question now. Good morning, David. What's your question for the doctors?
I have a pain pump, and I take a lot of narcotics,
Okay.
and I get clogged up.
Yep.
Is there anything y'all can do about that?
Normally we use magnesium citrate and a strong probiotic. That's where we start because both of those I think are needed anyway. We don't use the laxatives unless we have to. We do have some stronger herbal laxatives, but we start with the other ones first.
And if you're going to have to do a laxative, the herbal laxatives are much better. They're a lot less damaging to the gut and so on. So something like that.
But
there's a lot of
narcotics are
things.
known for causing that. So you're not alone. But we have a lot of people that add those and they see a big difference. And also at the same time, it helps your overall health.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for your call, David. Gary from Ocean Springs on the phone with a question now. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I've just found on the internet a new treatment for failing hearts, and I want to share it. It's called N106 molecule, and it's already passed its trials.
Right.
And there's 2 medicines available. N106 molecule cardiac would be put into Google. It'll bring up Mount Sinai's experiments in 2010 and 12, and it completely rebuilds the heart better than stem cells.
Yeah, it's something.
Phenomenal.
It's something that's not quite available yet, you know, over-the-counter type thing, or even as a pharmaceutical. And they're working. Well, Mount Sinai's working on a pharmaceutical for that, but it creates some genetic changes. It's really promising, and I think it's going to be a big game changer. It really is, Gary. There's no doubt about it. Can't wait till something like that, you know, truly becomes available.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
896-0713, 800-349-0713. Have about a minute and a half left.
Yeah.
So we haven't really had the opportunity to speak a whole lot about the leaky gut thing.
No, what we'll do is we'll talk about it again in a couple of weeks when we have open line. If anybody has any questions or think about any questions on the leaky gut, give us a call. The first Monday of the month is always going to be open line.
Right. Now, next Monday, we will not be here live, as it is a Memorial Day. But we have a very good special show. Kind of redundant, good special show. A very good show that kind of gives you a lot of background about everything that goes on with doctor's nutrition.
Right, and just natural medicine in general.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really good, very educational. So, you know, again, we will not be here live, but you can tune in and watch that and get a lot of great information on there as well. So anyway, hope you have a great week, have a healthy week. And again, you can always go by and see them. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5:30, Saturdays 11 to 2. Jim and Janine are there Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Have a great day.